dying enemy of G.I. Joe. Destro is his name. Destro is his name.
Alright, welcome back to the dungeon. I'm going to do a review on the Crimson Guard. I was really looking forward to this figure coming in. Love the Crimson Guard over the years. I've just always been kind of a big fan of them. I know that there's right off the top some minor, some differences with coloration because they put this guy in the retro card back version from what I understand, he's a different shade of red, a little different. So I do not have him to compare to this, so I'll just compare the red in here to the red of the OG and one additional later year figure. So we'll go ahead and get started with this. Right off the bat, digging the packaging. Notice that it's from the we just did Outback with the video game style background. This is back to the character art. It just lends more to the inconsistency in Hasbro's approach to packaging, but that's neither here nor there. So everything else is pretty standard. He's numbered number 50. The art on the front looks great. Not cartoony. Pretty consistent with some of the other like hardcore looking artwork we've had. It's interesting to note also that the figure does, and we'll get to this later. He comes with a sword, but he's also displaying that on the art that he's holding the sword, which is cool. The Crimson Guards were always supposed to be this like elite of the elite. They're everybody. If you read the comic books, they were the Fred series. Fred 7 was the most notable one, but you had the Fred series, called CGs, spelled two different ways. One is the C, capital letter C, G, apostrophe S. Other way in the comics they've done it as SIEGIES, CGs. But yeah, so they've always been like the elite of the elite, and so far like this looks very cool. Like, I'm not an army builder for classified. I don't have the space, but if I were, I would be definitely just for looks alone, I would be army building this guy. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of it here and see what we got going. I don't have my special guest. I don't have my little guest, the puppy, with me tonight. He's already sleeping. Let's get him out of the package. Hope they won't take as long to get him out as they did Outback. That was like ridiculous prying him out of there. So, let's see. Okay. All right, we're gonna get in depth here right now. All right, so here we go. Crimson Guard. He looks good. I do like the overall color. The details that stand out right away. The logo, nice and bright. That's a nice bright silver, very reminiscent of the original, the Crimson Guard. He's got his the Crimson Guard logo here on the side, which is a little different. I'll grab it in a minute from the like unit logo for the CGs. Yeah, that's slightly different even from the OG. He's got his medals here. They always had the little signature V here, the originals. It's kind of weird, like they have it, but it's more like built into the buckle per se. They stuck with the black and silver up here, even though some other O-ring iterations were slightly different. I like the little like cuff comes down over the hand there a little bit. I like that. I like the way that looks. Holster one, scabbard for his sword over here. As far as movement around, playability, everything seems to rotate well so far. Shoulder joint, bicep joint.
pretty good. Give a tug like I do on all the other ones here. Nothing seems to be loose or out of place. I don't see any odd paint rubs or marks or anything that looks out of place per se. Nice little feature here is his coloring here. Typically this is like honor guard braiding. When you see like fire and police department honor guards, it's like a color braid. It usually has significance to a particular group for the honor guard and such. So what's cool about this is it's not like the original. It's painted on. This is actually a piece that's molded into the epaulette loop up here. So I do like that. It's not silver like the original. It's grayish, as you can see. It's pretty solid gray, but I like it. It's pretty good. I like that you can move it around a little bit. Leg joints go. Some of the figures I've noticed over time, some of the classifieds have, like, when they have a lot of stuff going on down here below the belt, the legs don't move up really well. Like there's something, might be something here kind of, you really have to like force it against. But not like this. Even with the scabbard, with the belt that rotates around, you can just move it out of your way a little bit. It's not a big deal. It does look like he's got a spot here in his belt. This little hole here. And we'll find out what that's for in a minute. It does look like I have... Probably not a big deal. I don't know if that's just something stuck on the back of his arm. That's not a paint issue. Otherwise, pretty good. Knees bent, hips, legs. I do like that the boots come up the same as the original. Come up into that point, that high point. They almost remind me of like motor cops that are on motor units, motorcycle cops. Kind of like that little buckle here. These kind of, like if I look at this Crimson Guard, I mean, even though they look good in the original, in the 85 version, I like that these guys kind of look important. They look significant, like Iron Grenadiers, like they have this elite of the elites appearance about them and status. Yeah, I mean, the figure itself looks great. I'm digging it. So we'll get into these accessories. Hey, stand up. Okay. Let me get some of these popped out of here. We'll go over these. Backpack. Pistol. Backpack. Rifle with bayonet. I'm not real big on the toy photography, as some of you know. So I know a lot of guys that are into the toy photography enjoy a lot of tiny accessories because they like to take shots of, say, magazines in, magazines out, so on and so forth. That doesn't do anything for me, really. But it's cool to have them. That locked in place pretty well. I like the feel of this. It's got the ever so slight flexibility, but not too much. I like it. It's pretty solid. And a friend of mine pointed out on one of the other videos about like some of the weapons not really being colored. Like, I don't mind not having color in a lot of part of the weapon. I mean, the old school guys didn't have it. Not all the classifieds have it. That's not a big deal to me. I like the little accentuated items that are painted, like the blade of the bayonet. He also has his knife and sword. We'll talk about that in a second. And his sheath scabbard for the sword, and now I know what the little hole in his belt is for. So, before we attach these parts here, we'll get a quick comparison. So this is This is the 1985 original. Really close. Colors are slightly different. It's not terrible. And keep in mind, some of this is the lighting from my phone. This looks more. See, when I take this away, this looks semi-dark red. When I put this with it, then it gives this one appearance of regular red. It's, the hues are so subtle that I don't, like in your hand, not in light, like from this phone. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, it's really, really not. You're not going to get the same color mix. It's like buying paint. If you buy a couple batches of paint, or you buy one, you go back and you're like, oh man, I couldn't finish the room, I didn't have enough paint. And you go back and get more. If it's a different batch, it might be slightly different, tone in the pigment. Again, it's really not a big deal. He's the Crimson Guard. Like, seriously. I would imagine that the card back version must be much different, much more noticeable. But overall, as far as the look, you see this, he's got his braiding, silver, that's there, his badging. What is different is this logo, and it's hard to see, and they always were hard to see. But that's the Crimson Guard logo, and I'll grab something in a minute to show you a little closer. It's the Crimson Guard logo on his arm here in the triangle. The classified version has the cobra symbol in the triangle, so that is different. It's not the same thing. They kept with the high boots. I like that. And it's funny because starting here with the original release in 85, and then I got a 2005 version here, a removable helmet. You didn't see a sword on any of the Crimson Guards until 2013. So, and it was the only one, by the way, out of all the versions. So this is pretty unique. Also interesting to note, just little side note, the backpack, it's classified. It's, made with different plastics. This is a solid piece versus the OG, who, I happen to have the solid one, but there are hollow versions. There's a version of the backpack out there, not to get off tangent, where it's like all hollow in here. And then there's the hollow in the middle, dark, like mine, and then hollow in the middle, light. The one that's completely hollow all the way through is much harder to find. I do not have that one. But the shape and style of it is spot on. It's spot on. So get his backpack on here. Backpack fits good. I noticed that Outbacks still stayed a little, cattywampus, and I think that's because of his shoulder harness, because the backpack peg went through the harness, then into the back. This one there's no harness here, so it goes right in there. It stays pretty tight, it would seem. So that's not bad. Got his pistola. Fits very nice in there. The dagger. Fits very nice. Got a nice little loop there on the front of it. Kind of hangs over the edge of the scabbard. I like that. He also he's got some options here on his backpack. So it appears as if option 1 would be sword, attached to backpack. All right, that's fine. The peg over here, again, don't know why they do this. I would say you could do that with it. Which, I mean, I get it. I get what they're doing. It's so he could, carry the weapon on his backpack. It's fine. I guess, I don't know. I guess it was just kind of like an easy out to put it through the trigger guard, which, we know realistically no one's going to do that. But, whatever. It's really not that big of a deal. I just feel like maybe there could have been a slightly different way of tooling that. Or maybe even a different insert, square hole or something in here. to put that in without putting it through the trigger. I don't know. It, again, really not overly critical. But I don't care much for the sword on the backpack. I would say I would definitely keep it on his waist. I think it just looks better on his waist. He's got the sword, and flex these fingers out a little bit. And get this, get his rifle and bayonet in place here. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of stoked about this. This is nice. Like, I really like this figure. I think they did a good job here. Not everything's going to be perfect all the time. It is what it is. You know, there was issues with OG figures. I mean, it's, you know, nothing's perfect. You know, a little difficult getting a sword in his hand without flexing his fingers out too much. But it could also just be me and my fat ass finger. All right, so. Crimson Guard. Didn't want to overdo it. Didn't want to go too far, like, you know, go down too many rabbit holes here. There he is. He's an excellent figure. Truly. Very, very, very OG reminiscent. There's his 2005 counterpart. 2008 counterpart. Not bad. Generally speaking, really, really liking this figure. That little trigger thing with these little pegs and inserts, I honestly could care less. Maybe some people care. I, however, do not. This is a fantastic figure. I definitely roll 5 out of 5 for him. He looks great. He's bright. He looks exactly like what a Crimson Guard should look. He has such an awesome just appearance to him. Very, very elite looking. I'd love to see. I would hope that if Hasbro were to ever do an Iron Grenadier, that they would do him like this in this way. This is fantastic. Yeah, so he's absolutely fantastic. I dig the figure a lot. If you get a chance to get a hold of one, I'd still like to get a hold of one of the retro, the car back ones. So I can make a real good comparison with those. But overall, if you are a Crimson Guard fan, you know, original and the classified, I mean, you can't go wrong. That's a fantastic figure. So I'd say, again, you know, 5 out of 5. It's got great accessories. I think it's cool to see one with a sword. Like, I don't have the 2013 version. And he doesn't look much, he's not much far off of, like, you know, in looks wise from the 05 and 08 and, you know, so, but it's cool. Like 13 was the only small figure that had a sword. This is awesome just to have this, just to see this on this figure. Looking forward to taking, like I said, I don't really do big toy photos, but I'm looking forward to doing some looking forward to doing some pictures with him at least a couple. I mean, you know, I got that one I want to raffle off. I almost want to keep him just to have just 2 of these guys. But yeah, if you get a chance to pick them up, by all means. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, gripes, well, I don't really listen to gripes. But comments or anything, if you've picked up the retro card back, and you want to shoot me some pictures of, like, you know, side-by-side comparison, I don't know how long it'll be, or, you know, till I can grab one of them. So, but I hope you enjoyed this video. I got you know, a bunch more to do. Still need to do the guest spot one, which I decided I'm going to do Dusty, because I feel like a lot of people either love or hate this Dusty. So I'd rather have
I think we'll do a guest spot with that one because a lot of people got some mixed opinions on that one. Not all good, not all bad. Seems to be kind of torn down the middle. So we're gonna dig into that. Oh, sorry. Hang on. This is the what is on the original Crimson Guard. This is the Crimson Guard logo. And it's got the cobra symbol, but it also has the silver leaf that comes around. And it's actually all. I mean, mine's not even really faded, but it's such a tiny tampograph that it's just super hard to see on his arm, on his left arm. So the other one has the triangle, but they didn't get into the detail with this. I mean, I looked pretty close, but it's just a double-lined triangle on the classified version. Doesn't have like the banner. But yeah, I mean, this is it's cool though. Just the logo itself. So I appreciate everybody watching, and you know, if you get a chance, check out some other videos. Please like and subscribe. There's a subscribe button, I think, that way. Not sure where it is. I'm still learning some YouTube stuff. I'm getting a little better at it, but I think there's a subscription button down below. There might be a like button somewhere down there too. I don't know. So I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for checking it out. Peace from the dungeon.
Enemy of G.I. Joe. Destro is his name. Destro is his name.